Hello friends, welcome to the VLSI design course. So in this VLSI design course video series, we have covered so many lectures, video lectures. In that, basically we start with the meaning of VLSI, then VLSI job opportunities, then we have covered the difference between VLSI and embedded system, the various VLSI applications in commercial applications, in military applications, as well as in industry applications. Then we started the advanced digital design concept, where we have covered all the combinational circuits, sequential circuits, state machines, sequence detectors. Then we started the VHDL language, introduction to the VHDL language, and there we covered almost all the important parameters of the VHDL. Now this is the time to use that knowledge and implement some practical examples on the FPGA platform. So today's lecture is focused on the introduction to the FPGA development kit. So we have developed our own FPGA kit for the implementation of various VHDL, or we can say VLSI practicals. So let us start the introduction of this FPGA development kit. So the FPGA development kit looks like somewhat like this. So it has a FPGA board. So this is FPGA board available from the Numato Labs. So this is ready-made board available. We can purchase it directly for our all the experimentation purpose. And the base, or we can say daughter card, whatever we have developed, it is developed for the execution of various interfaces for the better understanding. So this board size is developed in such a way that it will be readable, or it is to be useful in a lab environment. So board is developed in such a way that it can be useful in a lab environment. So very important onboard hardware is the FPGA. The FPGA here is selected is from the Xilinx FPGA Spartan 3A family, and it has some GPIO interface. So we are using these GPIO pins. So it has 4 headers. Each header contains the 8 IO pins. So that 8 IO pins we are using for the further interfaces. So on what are the available things on this development platform? So we have given an interface for the 16:2 LCD display. So we can do lot of things using this LCD display. We can display our own name. We can display, we can try to interface the we can understand the LCD display interface concept using this hardware. Then there is another one interface we have given is the 7 segment display. So here total we have connected 6 7 segment display. So using this 7 segment display, we can implement various counters. We can even implement a digital clock using we can implement digital clock and implement it on this 7 segment display. So 2 displays can be used to display the second, and then middle 2 can be used to display the minutes, and the upper 2 can be used for the display of hours. Similarly, advanced one of the interface we are giving is the serial protocol is the RS-232. So RS-232 also has various applications, and this is very basic protocol used in the many applications. So we can, using the RS-232, we can interface the ZigBee module, we can interface the GSM module, and whatever the devices support this RS-232, we can try to communicate using this RS-232. As well, we have provided 8 onboard switches for the input and output purpose, to give the various input and output. So it is very useful while implementing basic gates, or if you want to give input signals to the, let us say for example, counter to start and stop, or in case of encoder, decoder, mux, demux. So all these things can be implemented using this switch as a input port. As well as here we have given 8 output LEDs. So we can observe easily the output of, let us say for example, multiplexer output or demultiplexer output or encoder, decoder. So for this purpose, LEDs plays a very important role. As well as we have created a separate block for the adder and subtractor, where we are given a full adder inputs like A, B, C. We can give it to the 3 switches, as well as we can observe the 2 LED output, that is sum and carry, or in case of full subtractor, that is the difference and the borrow. As well, we have given one additional interface is a hex keypad interface, because here we have observed output display interface as a LCD display as well as the 7 segment, but to interface, to give a input interface, the hex keypad or a 4x4 keypad plays an important role. So this also we can interface using this FPGA. So all these applications, practicals, examples we can cover using this FPGA development board. As well as on this FPGA board we have a VGA interface, VGA. So we can drive a LCD monitor using this VGA interface, as well as it has a SD card interface. So there also we can try to implement. So this platform is created majorly for the engineering students or diploma students, so they can do hands-on experiment using this development platform, and it is very easy and very straightforward, simple to use. So let us see the features of this FPGA board. So the FPGA used here is a Xilinx Spartan 3 family, and the part number is XC3S50A, XC3S50A, and the package is here is a TQG144. It means this FPGA contains total 144 pins. Okay. So in that our VCC, ground pins, and remaining are the some dedicated. Usually in FPGA there are various dedicated pins like JTAG pins, programmable pins, VCC ground pins, and remaining are the user IO pins. So the board has a onboard 16 MB of SPI flash memory, so we can program the FPGA and keep our executable, that is bit file, in that memory. So usually FPGAs are the volatile memory. Once you power off, whatever the program we loaded into FPGA, it vanishes. To store that executable file, for example .bit file, we need always some PROM kind of or memory kind of thing. So on this board this memory is available, so whatever the program we have program into the FPGA, it will keep all the time. Similarly, the USB interface is provided for the onboard flash programming. Usually the Xilinx JTAGs are costlier, so for the students or for hobbyists it will be difficult to purchase that kind of high-end JTAG for various analysis. So for analyzing examples or creating the hobby projects, we can prefer a low cost designs. So this board has a onboard programming facility using USB itself. No need of any additional JTAG cables. FPGA configuration can be JTAG or USB. So here if you want to use the JTAG, if it is available with you, you can use the JTAG. So JTAG interface also available on this FPGA board. So we can use the normal standard JTAG cable to program the FPGA. As well as on board it has 8 LEDs, it has 6 push buttons, then 8-way DIP switch, it has one VGA connector, one stereo jack, one micro SD card adapter, 3 7-segment display, 39 IOs, onboard voltage regulator to manage the signal or power rail of the FPGA. So these are the feature of this FPGA development board. As well on board we will have to understand how these headers are connected to interface with the FPGA kit. So if we start from the top, this is the connector called as a header J3. So what this J3 header contains, this J3 is connected to the LCD's control signal. So to drive any LCD signal, we need a read write signal, we need a enable signal, we need a enable signal and the RS signal. Okay, as well as it has 8 data lines, so D0 to D7. So this J3 header contains this control signals as well as this full adder and full subtractor pin details. So this switch is also connected through this J3 header, this switch and these two LEDs. So it contains LCD control as well as the A, B, C in, that is the full adder input, then sum and carry LED out. So these many signals we are connected to this J3. J4 is dedicated for the LCD display data lines. So it is D0 to D7. Then this J7 header is connected for the controlling of the 7 segment display. So what is the controlling of 7 segment display? So usually if you know the theory of 7 segment display, each 7 segment display comes with a configuration of common anode and a common cathode. So to control the on off functionality of this 7 segment display, either the common anode has to be connected to the VCC. If it is a common cathode, then it is to be connected to logic 0. So on this board we have used the common anode 7 segment display type, common anode SSD type. So this, to control this 7 segment on off, these 6 signals are connected to this J7 header, as well as the TX and RX of the UART. TX and RX of the UART are also routed here. Then J6 connector is for the 7 segment display data pins. So these are the 4 headers dedicatedly for the 2 for the LCD display, 2 for the 7 segment. So this, then J14 header is 8 pin header is particularly for this 8 switches. Similarly J15 is for this 8 output LEDs. So this section already we are covering into the J3, and this J2 is for this 4x4 keyboard section. So this is all about the we can say the signal routing, internal signal routing of this daughter card. Now on the FPGA, this header is also marked as a P1 header, P6 header, P2 header and P4 header. So depending on our application concept, we can directly connect this P1 header to, let us say if I wanted to use the switches, so this P1 header directly we can connect to this J14. If I want to use P6 header as a output LED, so this can be directly connected to this J15 header. So this details also we are going to see how these pin locations are allocated. So this is the overview of how this signal or pin routing has done on the FPGA development board. So let us see few applications. If I wanted to use the LCD display, so how we are going to route the signals from FPGA to the headers. So usually whenever we are writing any HDL code or we are declaring the entity section, so in entity signal whatever the signals we are declaring, that is nothing but the HDL logical representation of that algorithm. Now to interface with the external environment, that signal has to be connected to the FPGA particular pin. So let us say, I'll just give one small example, then again we'll move to this pin assignment. Let us say we have written a HDL code for the AND gate. I will just try to explain you how this pin assignment happens. So internal signal, let us say we have declared input A, input B and output Y. So this is the logical implementation of AND gate. Now HDL code we have written for this AND gate. Let us say Y is equal to signal assignment A and B semicolon. This is, suppose let us assume this is the HDL implementation, or let us assume it is, we have simulated it, synthesized it and bit file is generated. Now this output Y, let us say this output Y, I have to connect to this one of the LED. I wanted to connect this output Y to see the output my real functionality to this LED, and I wanted to use this switch, first switch as a input, second switch as a B input. So how these connections happen? So on board while designing this daughter card, we have connected the this switch 1 input to the header J14 pin number 1, switch 2 is connected to the J14 pin number 2. So it is hard coded, or we can not hard coded, we can say it is routed to this through the PCB track. So pin number 1 is connected to the switch 1, pin number 2 is connected to B, switch B, or second input, as well as this first LED is connected to J14 pin number 1. Now if we connect this J14 header with the P1 header, then it will connect to the FPGA's internal signal. Now similarly, if these switches are, we have routed it to this header, as well as some of the pins of FPGA are also routed to this header P1, header P6, header P2 and header P4. So that description only explained here. So let us take an example of this header J3 is used for the LCD and header P2. So this P2 header is available on the FPGA, and this P2 header has total 8 pins. So pin number 1's location is P10. So what is meaning of this P10? So P10 is nothing but P2 header. So this is P2 header. Its first pin number 1 is connected to FPGA's internal pin number 10. So this is again routed through our PCB printed circuit board, and it is connected to the pin number 10. Okay, you got it. Now if the VHDL code we have written for the AND gate and the signal assigned as A, if this signal in the pin assignment we have assigned, let us say if this A signal we have assigned to the pin number P10, so indirectly this A is coming here, and then with the additional cable, if you connect this P2 and this J14 header, then we can control this switch input logic 1 or logic 0. It will go to P2 and P2 to the input A, and accordingly our AND gate will behave. Try to understand. So like this signals flow happen into the FPGA, and further output will come to the our display. So again, coming back to the pin details. So J3 header is used for the LCD control usually, and P2 header, if you are connecting P2 header, then it will represent the RS signal of the LCD will connect to the pin number 10 of the FPGA, pin 10 of the FPGA. So these descriptions we need to give in our user constraint file. Similarly, read write pin of the LCD, assuming that this connection is happen, P2 to J3 is connected through this cable. So for example, we are using this kind of cables to connect the headers. Okay, headers. So assuming that this connection is there, so it will be connected as a P11 pin of RW. Enable is connected to P7 of the FPGA pin. Now this will try to understand. So ABC are residing here, A, B, C. So A is connected to P8 of the FPGA, B is connected to P3, C is connected to P5, sum or difference we can say connected to P4, and carry or borrow connected to the P6. So whenever we are writing any code, let us say full adder code, so HDL code representation is in a single signal representation that signals directly assigned to the FPGA's one of the pin. Then that FPGA's one of the pin is connected to the header pin. Okay, it is through the PCB through our one of the track, and then these headers we are connected to the one of the available header through wires, and that will control our switch operation on off, or if we say on, it will give logic 1 to that particular signal. If you switch off it, or if it gives a logic 0 to function accordingly the functionality of your internal logic whatever written in the FPGA. Similarly, the J4 header is for the data lines of the LCD, and it is if you are connected to the P6 header, so P6 this header, and if you are connected to the P6, it will behave as a data lines. So this is one of the example for LCD display. So for LCD display, we are dedicatedly we can use any header anywhere, but for the simplicity and keep the we can say commonality, we are keeping this connection as it is. So P2 header we are connecting to J3. To understand better, Then P6 header of the FPGA is connected to the J4 header for the LCD kind of applications. Similarly, for SSD, we are connecting P6 header to the J7 header, and J6 header of the daughter card will connect to the P2 header. So like this wiring we are doing, and these are the IO pins we are using while writing a VHDL code. So this gives an idea how pin routing we are using for the various applications. Similarly, for the keypad, so we are going to write a VHDL code for hex keypad interface, where we can press any 4x4 key accordingly, and it will display its expected value on the, or expected display on the 7th segment. So like this, the pin assignments can be done for the keypad. So for keypad, we are using a separate header, that is P4, and it P4 is P1, P6, P2, P4, and it is connected to the J2 of the daughter card header. So this pin assignment can be used for the hex keypad interface. Okay, so with this board, what else we can do? So with this board, we can implement all the basic combinational gates, all the combinational circuit we can implement using this development board. We can implement it, and we can observe the functionality of the all the gates. Then we can implement all the combinational circuit. We can write the VHDL code for the adder, subtractor, multiplexer, demultiplexer, encoder, decoder, even priority encoder, the number system conversion, for example binary to BCD. This also we can implement on this development board. 4-bit ALU design we can implement on this FPGA development board. So almost whatever the examples are in the engineering curriculum, we can cover almost all the practicals using this FPGA development kit, as well as sequential circuit, flip-flops, counters, shift registers, frequency generators, various frequency generators also we can observe it. Various other sequential circuits can be implemented, and we can observe the real-time performance using this development board, as well as the 7-segment display interface is available. So all the applications related to 7-segment, like displaying counter value, up counter value, down counter value, or keypad value, it can be displayed on this 7-segment display. As well as it has a LCD interface, so we can interface the LCD, we can display the characters on the LCD interface, and we'll understand in a better way how the LCD interface happens in the VLSI design. As well as keypad interface is there, we can understand the how keypad works using this development platform. As well as because of this UART interface, we can develop a UART protocol, serial protocol, as well as SPI needs only hardly 3-4 lines, so that can be easily implemented on this platform. As well as we can implement a digital clock, because we have available 7-segment display, as well as this digital clock output we can display on the LCD display also. So digital clock also can be implemented. VGA interface also available, so we can implement some VGA interface examples on the FPGA, like ping pong game, or displaying various color structure on the, or driving the basic concept behind interfacing VGA is to how to drive the displays using the FPGA. So that also we can cover under this VGA interface. If we have additional ADC DAC card externally, that also we can interface with this development card through the GPIOs. We can interface the ZigBee, because we have already given interface, UART interface. We can interface GSM, RFID also. We can control the stepper motor as well as the DC motors also, or we can write a small stepper motor controller program here. So many examples we can try to cover in this using this development board. So this development board definitely very useful for the beginners, very useful for the college students, or even for the lab practices. We can offer this board to the educational institute to use in their in curriculum or in the lab experiments also. So if you want to get these boards, we have various offers. we can sell this directly board to you, as well as we can give these boards for rent basis also, because some student, if they are unable to afford that much of money, or if they don't want to spend permanently on the development board, if they wanted to just use it, try to understand the concept, implement it, and if they want for some specific period, that option also we are keeping. We can offer you a rent basis service for either 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or depends on your requirement. Whatever the interfaces available on the board, development board, all the source code will be provided to test your design, or you can implement by your own also. As well, if you want to implement your own VLSI project for your final year, for your MTech, so all these applications can be covered using this development platform. So if you are interested in these development boards, and if you are interested to use this development board for learning various VLSI applications, feel free to contact us. The details are listed here. We can contact through mobile phone as well as through the mail. I hope this is very interesting topic for all of us, because it creates much more awareness in the implementing the designs and observing in a real-time practical examples. Thank you. Keep watching the videos.